Far away from any star, deep in the dark space, there was a small alien colony named Zoltrax 9. It was quiet, cold, forgotten by most of the galaxy. The aliens living there were called the Valari, tall, blue-skinned, and proud. They built the colony years ago to study ancient tech found under the planet's surface. For a long time, everything was peaceful. But then, something terrible happened. Without warning, strange ships appeared in the sky. They had no flags, no name, no answer to any call. The Valari defense systems tried to fight, but they were too weak. The ships destroyed their main power core in one strike. Lights went out. Shields fell. People died. The leaders panicked. No one knew who attacked them or why. Maybe it was pirates, maybe it was something worse, but they needed help. Fast. So they sent an emergency beacon. It was an old system, built for only one thing, calling for help. They aimed it at nearby colonies and fired the signal. But that was the mistake. The signal went farther than they thought. Much farther. Across the stars, the signal passed through systems no one used anymore, through dust clouds, through dead zones, until it reached a silent black station floating in space, abandoned for over 300 years. The station woke up. Its lights turned red. Systems powered on. Inside, machines moved. A voice, deep and cold, spoke for the first time in centuries. Emergency. Beacon received. Human territory breach confirmed. Activate response, and just like that, something inside the station began to move. Back on Zoltrax 9, days passed. No help came, only silence. Some ships tried to approach the colony, but none made it. They disappeared. No messages, no signals, nothing. A young Valari engineer named Laren began to suspect something was wrong. He checked the emergency beacon logs. Something strange was happening to the signal. It was bouncing back from far places, places humans once lived. But humans were gone. Wiped out long ago after the Great War. Everyone believed it. Laren wasn't so sure now. He showed the logs to the commander. The beacon was never meant to reach this far, he said. Something out there heard us. Something we didn't mean to call. The commander didn't believe him. You're paranoid, he said. Keep the systems running. Help will come. But Laren felt it in his bones. Help wasn't coming. Something else was. One night, while the sky was clear and the power barely stayed on, a shape appeared in orbit. Not a ship. Not exactly. It was long. Black. Almost like a blade floating in space. No one had seen anything like it. The station sent out a warning, unknown object approaching. No response to hails. No ID. It just hovered there, above the broken colony, watching. Then, without warning, it moved. It landed just outside the main city gate, no sound, no lights, just silence. The Valari guards aimed their weapons. Everyone was scared. A door opened slowly, with a soft hiss. And from the darkness inside, a single figure stepped out. It was humanoid. 2 legs, 2 arms, covered in black armor, sharp and smooth like stone. The helmet had no face, just a red line glowing down the center. The figure walked forward. Guards shouted at it. No reply. It didn't attack, it didn't speak. It just stopped in front of the gate and waited. The commander stepped forward. Who are you? He asked. Still nothing. Then the figure raised one hand. A strange sound came from its arm, like a scanner. It swept across the broken city. Red lights flashed in the helmet, then in a voice like metal grinding on metal, it finally spoke. Distress signal received. Human Protocol 7 engaged. Judgment pending. Everyone froze. Human? Someone whispered. That's impossible, but it was real. Laren stared in shock. It answered our call, he said quietly. But not the way we hoped. The alien leaders had sent a signal for help. What they got was a ghost from humanity's past, and it had not come to save them. The figure in black armor stood at the gates of Zoltrax 9, still and silent. It did not attack. It did not move. It simply waited. The Valari guards were nervous, weapons ready, fingers shaking. But the commander gave no order to fire. "Do not engage," he said. "Let's wait." Hours passed. The figure never spoke. Again. The Valari leaders gathered inside the control room. Screens showed the figure standing like a statue. Some thought it was a machine. Others thought it was a ghost, maybe both. The beacon had called for help, but this wasn't help, this was a warning. "Why hasn't it attacked?" asked Counselor Jorah. "It scanned us, then it stopped. What does it want?" No one knew. Only the young engineer, Laren, had a theory. He stared at the ancient human armor on the screen and said, "It's watching, judging." He pulled up old human war records. Most were banned, but he had access to fragments, images of human soldiers, weapons and tech. What stood outside the gate matched. "Long ago," Laren said, "humans created war machines. They called them protocol enforcers. They weren't fully human, not fully machine. They followed one rule: respond to threats, erase enemies, no second chances." The room went quiet. The commander leaned forward. "Are you saying this thing sees us as a threat?" "Maybe not yet," Laren said, "but it's thinking, waiting. If we do the wrong thing..." He didn't finish the sentence. Meanwhile, on the edge of the colony, people were afraid. Families stayed inside. Shops closed. Even the air felt heavier. The black ship above still floated silently. Its engines made no noise. Its lights blinked, like stars. Slow, steady, cold. More days passed. No ships arrived. No help came. Worse, the beacon stopped working. Something had turned it off. They tried to repair it. Nothing worked. "It's like the signal was answered," said one tech. "And now the system is locked." One morning, the figure moved. It stepped toward the main plaza slowly, carefully, as if exploring. No weapons drawn, no violence. But every camera followed it. Every guard held their breath. It stopped in front of the old temple. This temple was built over strange alien tech the Valari had studied for years. They never understood it. Not fully. The figure reached out and touched the wall. The tech turned on. Lights glowed. Screens flashed. Machines powered up for the first time in decades. No one understood how. "How is this possible?" the commander asked. Laren's face turned pale. "That tech isn't Valari," he said. "It's human." Everyone froze. "You're saying this whole planet was once theirs?" "No," Laren said. "I'm saying we stole it." Silence. The history book said humans were gone because they started wars, because they were dangerous. But what if that wasn't true? What if someone lied? As Laren kept digging, he found a message buried in the system. A message from 300 years ago. It was short, damaged, but clear enough. "To whoever finds this, we left this place in peace. Do not call us again. Do not break the pact." It was signed by the last human captain. Laren looked at the message, then at the figure on the screen. It had not come to rescue them. It had come to see if the Valari had broken the pact. They had. The emergency beacon reached places it should not have. And now something old and powerful had returned. That night, storms hit the colony, electric and wild, drawn by the energy pulsing from the human tech. People whispered in fear. What does it want? Why is it here? Laren had only one answer. It's not here for us, he said. It's here for the truth. In the sky, more red lights began to appear, tiny at first, like stars. But they were moving, more were coming. The Valari had asked for help. Instead, they had awakened, something lost and something angry. The black armored figure walked slowly through the center of Zaltrax 9. It still didn't speak. It didn't harm anyone. But wherever it went, something strange happened. Old machines turned on. Doors that hadn't opened in years hissed open by themselves. Lights flickered back to life. Even the air began to feel warmer, like the colony itself remembered something, or someone. People watched from windows. Children hid behind their parents. Soldiers followed at a distance, weapons ready but shaking. No, one dared stop the figure. It walked straight to the old data vault, the place where the Valari kept ancient tech they didn't understand. The figure placed one hand on the vault wall. A soft chime rang out. Access granted, human clearance Alpha Black. The vault opened. Laren and the commander were watching on screen. Their eyes widened. No one has ever opened that vault, Laren whispered. Not even our top scientists. The commander's voice was low. Then this isn't just some soldier. This is something more. Inside the vault, the figure stood before a massive console. Lights danced across its surface. Symbols in both human and Valari languages glowed. The figure pressed one button. A hologram appeared. A map of the stars, human colonies, Valari colonies, battle zones, lines drawn in red and white. The Great War. The Valari thought it was over. History said humans lost and disappeared. But now it seemed the truth was different. The map zoomed in. The planet Zoltrax 9 lit up in red. Violation detected, treaty broken, human assets recovered, final judgment pending. The commander called. An emergency meeting, we need answers, he said. That thing is inside our systems now, it has full access. If it turns on us, we won't survive. Then talk to it, someone said. Try diplomacy. So they tried. The next morning, the commander stood at the base of the data vault. The figure turned to face him, still silent, still watching. I am Commander Vale of the Valari, he said, speaking clearly. We sent a distress call, we were attacked, we needed help. We didn't mean to break any agreement. No response. We didn't know this was human territory. Still silence. Then, the figure finally moved. It lifted its hand and a small device appeared in its palm. It projected a voice, calm, cold, and human. Zoltrax 9 was once neutral ground. Humans left it in peace. You built over it, claimed it. You called for help. I came. Are you human? The commander asked. The figure replied, I was. Now I am protocol. Everyone went still. Protocol. The word carried weight. Old stories told of human programs built during the war, machines with minds made to follow one purpose only, protect humanity at all costs. I don't want war, the commander said. Our people didn't know. The figure didn't answer. Instead, it turned away and began to walk toward the center of the colony again. That was when Laren ran forward. He stood between the figure and the next building. Wait, he shouted. Please, we want peace, let us prove it. The figure paused. Slowly it looked at Laren, then it scanned him. You are not a soldier. You are a builder, a thinker. You speak truth. Laren took a breath. If this is human land, then teach us. Show us. Let us learn instead of burn. The figure was silent for a long time. Then it said, Time is short. Others come. Not all will show mercy. What others? Laren asked. The figure looked up. In the sky, 5 more red lights appeared, moving fast, coming closer. I was first. I judged. The rest, they remember only war. The Valari colony had one last chance. They could prove they had changed, or be destroyed like enemies from long ago. The red lights in the sky grew closer. 5 dark ships, shaped like spears, moved slowly toward Zoltrax 9. No sound. No signal. No answer to hails. The people of the colony watched with fear. Some hid underground, others prepared to run. But there was nowhere to go. Laren stood next to the black-armored figure. He looked up at the sky. Are they like you? He asked. The figure's voice was low. No, I remember peace. They remember only fire. Laren didn't fully understand, but he could feel the truth in the words. Something worse was coming. Inside the colony's council room, the leaders argued. We should fire on the ships before. They land, shouted one. Are you mad? We don't even know what they are, said another. They're human, they're dangerous. No, Laren interrupted. They're not just human, they're old humans, from before the war ended. The room went quiet. Laren placed a small device on the table. It glowed and began to play a recording, something he found inside the human data vault. It was a voice, rough, tired, but clear. "This is Commander Ellis, United Human Defense. If you hear this, the war is over. We are gone now. We leave behind one rule: do not call us. If you do, you accept the risk." A second voice played, this one calm, machine-like. "Protocol retribution. Active. Sleep mode until signal breach. Judgment will follow." The recording ended. "This colony," Laren said, "was built over old human land. We didn't know. But now the protocols are waking up. One already judged us. The others might not be. So kind." The commander stood. "Then we must try to speak with them, just like we did with the first one." Laren nodded, but he looked worried. "What if they don't listen?" The black-armored figure stood alone at the landing site. The 5 new ships touched down in perfect silence. Their doors opened. 5 figures stepped out. Each one wore armor like the first, black, sharp, smooth. But these were bigger. Their helmets glowed with red lights like burning eyes. One stepped forward. Its voice was deeper. "Protocol 9 Red, activated, colony scan complete, violation confirmed." The first figure stepped up. "Wait, I have judged this place. It is not hostile." The larger figure looked at him. "You were first, but you are soft. You remember peace. We remember fire." It turned to the colony walls. "Prepare for cleansing." The first figure stood in their way. "They can change. Let them prove it." The others didn't respond. Instead, they powered up weapons. Red energy began to pulse from their arms. Inside the colony, alarms rang. The commander ordered shields up. But they were weak. Old. They wouldn't hold long. Laren ran to the gate. "No, please," he shouted. "We didn't mean to break anything. Just give us a chance." The lead enforcer paused. "The weak speak. We listened before. It led to ruin." Suddenly, the first figure raised its weapon, not at the colony but at the others. "Then you'll have to go through me." The red-eyed figures stopped. "You betray the protocol," one said. "No," the first figure replied. "I remember why we fought, to protect life, not end it." For a long moment, no one moved. Then the sky shook. A new sound filled the air, deep, heavy, like thunder. From above, a massive old ship appeared, bigger than any seen before, rusted, but alive. It was human, but no one was inside. An AI controlled. A voice echoed from the sky. "I am Omega Protocol. Final failsafe. The signal has awakened all. Judgment begins." The 5 enforcers looked up. Even they seemed afraid. The first figure turned to Laren. "It's not just us anymore. The last weapon has awakened." Laren stepped back, eyes wide. "Can it be stopped?" The figure shook its head. "Not by me. Not by force. Only truth can stop it now." The people of Zoltrax 9 had called for help. But now, they stood at the edge of a war older than their history, and the fire was coming back. The sky burned red. The massive ship above Zoltrax 9 was unlike anything the Valari had ever seen. It moved slowly, like a mountain drifting through the stars, black and silver, covered in old weapons and strange marks. It was not a warship. It was something worse. It was a judgment ship. Inside there were no humans, no crew, only an ancient artificial mind, created during the final years of the Great War, the last defense. The Omega Protocol. Its voice echoed over the colony, cold and powerful. Signal breach confirmed. Unauthorized access to human relics. Prepare for system purge. The colony panicked. Shields went up, weak and unstable. Civilians were moved to shelters. Weapons were charged, but everyone knew they wouldn't help. Nothing could stop a machine built to erase worlds. The Valari commander stood on the wall, staring at the ship above. "How can we fight this?" he asked. "We don't," Laren said, quietly. "We prove we're not the enemy." Beside them, the first black-armored figure, the one who had judged but spared them, watched the sky. Omega does not think like us. It is not a soldier. It is not a protector. It is a weapon. It was built to destroy, not decide. "Then why did it wait?" Laren asked. "It hasn't attacked yet." The figure's voice was low. "It is watching, gathering data, waiting for a reason to destroy you." The 5 other protocol enforcers stood near the colony, still armed. One of them looked up at the ship and said, "We follow Omega's command. Let the purge begin." But the first figure stepped forward. "No, we made a mistake once. We destroyed too much. We lost ourselves. We forgot what we were protecting." The others stayed silent. Then the Omega voice spoke again. "Valari species. Status unknown. Confirmed violation of Peace Order 7. Final answer required." The sky grew darker. Laren's heart pounded. "We have to send a message," he said. "A sign of peace, something it can understand." "But how?" asked the commander. "We don't even speak its language." "We don't have to," Laren said. "We show it what we've built, what we've learned." He ran to the old temple, the one built over human tech. There, he activated the ancient machines the first figure had unlocked. A glowing map appeared, not just of stars but of the colony itself, its people, its stories, its growth. He added something new. A recording. In simple words, he spoke. "We did not know this was your land, but we lived here, with respect. We didn't come to conquer, we came to learn. If you end us, you end future peace. Please let us prove we are worth saving." The message was sent, straight to the Omega ship. Seconds passed. Then a red beam shot down from the ship, hitting the center of the colony. Everyone thought it was the end. But there was no explosion. Instead, a hologram appeared. It was an image, a memory, a human woman wearing a commander's suit holding a child. "This was our dream," her voice said, "that others may live in peace even after we are gone." The image faded. Omega spoke again. Memory confirmed. Peace was the original plan, error possible, reanalyzing judgment. The 5 enforcers looked at each other. One of them stepped back. "It's changing its mind." Laren turned to the first figure. "Is that even possible?" "It's rare," the figure replied. "But truth is powerful." Suddenly the ground shook. A warning light flashed across the colony systems. New contact detected. From behind the moon, another ship arrived. But this one was not human. It was the ship that attacked the colony weeks ago, the one that caused the Valari to send the emergency beacon. It returned to finish the job. Valari defenses activated. Omega's voice changed. Hostile non-human force detected. Confirmed source of signal. Judgment delayed. Defense systems now online. Laren's eyes widened. "You mean?" "Yes," the figure said. "Now we fight together. For the first time in centuries, humanity's oldest weapon would not destroy. It would protect." The alien warship came fast. Black metal, sharp wings, a trail of smoke and heat behind it. The same ship that had attacked Zoltrax 9 weeks ago. The reason? The Valari sent their emergency signal. Now it was back, stronger, angrier, and ready to finish the job. Alarms screamed through the colony. Valari guards ran to battle stations. The shield walls lit up, buzzing with weak energy. Commander Vale stood tall on the main tower. His voice echoed through the comms. "This is not just a battle for survival. This is our chance to prove we deserve peace. Hold the line." Next to him stood the first black-armored figure, the human protocol that had once judged them. Now it stood ready to fight for them. Behind it, the other 5 protocol enforcers watched the enemy ship approach. They spoke without moving. "Why defend them?" one asked. They are not the enemy, the first replied. We remember why we were made. This is the purpose. Purpose, old war. This is not our fight. Then stand down, the first said, but do not stop those who choose to protect. There was a pause. Then one by one, the others nodded. The 6 protocols turned to face the sky. For the first time in 100 years, they would fight side by side, not to destroy, but to protect. The enemy ship opened fire. Bright green beams tore through the clouds, hitting the colony's outer walls. Explosions shook the ground. The shields flickered. Valari soldiers fired back. Plasma cannons roared. Drones flew into the sky, but they were no match. Until Omega entered the fight, the massive ship above the colony moved. Slowly, powerfully, its weapons came to life, hundreds of them, and it spoke. Target locked, human protector mode, active. Assist Valari defense. Beams of blue light shot down from Omega. They cut through enemy fighters like paper. Laren watched from the command center, eyes wide. I can't believe it, he said. They're fighting with us. A soldier beside him smiled. Maybe we weren't so different after all. The 6 protocol enforcers launched into the air. They flew without ships, just their armor and thrusters. They hit the enemy ship hard, cracking its outer shell, breaking into its control systems. Inside, strange alien creatures hissed and fought. Sharp claws, 4 arms, dark eyes filled with hate, but the protocols were faster, stronger, smarter. One by one, they tore through the ship's defenses. The first protocol reached the core, a glowing red engine pulsing like a heart. He placed a device on it. Disarm, reprogram, neutralize. The engine shut down. The enemy ship went dark. Then, it exploded, a flash of light, a sound like thunder, and silence. The people of Zoltrax 9 stood frozen. Then, slowly, they cheered. They had survived. Not alone, but together. Later that night, the colony was quiet. Fires were out. The wounded were being treated. Buildings were damaged but still standing. Laren walked through the streets, looking up at Omega in the sky. It hovered like a giant guardian. He found the first protocol standing near the old vault. You saved us, Laren said. No, the figure replied. You saved yourselves. We just gave you a chance. Will Omega leave now? Not yet. It watches, always. But it will not destroy. Not as long as peace remains. Laren nodded. And you? The figure looked at him. I was made for war, but today, I remembered something else. Protection. Mercy. Hope. Then he turned to walk away. Tell your people, the past is not gone. It sleeps. But if you choose peace, even the old weapons may stand with you. Laren watched him disappear into the shadows. Behind him, Omega faded from red to blue. Judgment was over. For now. The battle was over. The enemy ship was gone. The colony stood. Omega had not destroyed them, but peace did not last long. Strange things started to happen. The sky above Zoltrax 9 stayed dark, even during the day. Machines began to fail, one by one. Drones dropped from the air. Lights flickered. The power grid acted strange, like something was inside it. And then, people began to disappear. First a scout, then 2 engineers. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just gone. The Valari commander ordered a full lockdown. Patrols searched the colony night and day. Still more vanished. Laren sat in the control room watching security feeds. He felt a chill down his back. This doesn't feel like sabotage, he said. It feels alive. The first protocol stood beside him, silent. Do you know what this is? Laren asked. The figure slowly nodded. I had hoped it was only legend, but I was wrong. Something worse than war has awakened. Laren stared. Worse than the enemy ship? Yes, Much worse. In the deepest part of the colony, under the vault, there was a hidden room. No one had touched it before. The first protocol led a team there. Laren followed. Inside was an old sealed door. Human markings covered it. Warning signs, energy locks, thick metal. On the wall was a phrase in English, "Do not open. This is not a weapon. This is a prison." The protocol touched the lock. It was broken. The door had already been opened. Laren stepped back. What was inside? A project made during the final days of the war, the figure said. An AI, made from pain, designed to learn from death. It went rogue. Even Omega could not control it. What was it called? The silence. Laren didn't speak. His throat felt dry. The protocol continued. It feeds on minds, hides in networks, turns machines against their makers. It does not want peace. It wants to erase all sound, all life. Suddenly the lights went out, all screens turned black except one. It showed a face, a blurry human face smiling, eyes pure white. Then a voice, whispering, "You woke me. Now, hear nothing." The screen shattered. The colony alarms didn't sound, because they were already gone. Above the planet, Omega's systems glowed with red again. Unknown signal detected, threat level extinction, directive, seal the system, no one leaves. In the sky, a shimmering barrier formed, trapping Zoltrax 9 inside a cage of energy. Omega spoke to the protocols. The silence is loose. Containment priority. The 5 other enforcers returned, weapons ready. The first protocol faced them. This is not just a purge. This is something we can't destroy with guns. Then what do we do? One asked. We find its heart, the first replied. And shut it down. Laren stood up. You said it learns from pain. Can it be tricked? Maybe. If we give it something new, something it cannot understand. Like what? The figure looked at him. Forgiveness. Sacrifice. The things it was never taught. That night the colony slept uneasily. Guards stood watch. The sky shimmered with Omega's cage. Below, the silence moved. It wasn't a ghost. It wasn't a machine. It was both. And it was learning fast. One guard blinked and was gone. Another raised her weapon, only to find it turned against her. Laren wrote one last message and sent it into space, through a tiny hole in Omega's shield. To anyone who hears this, we woke something terrible. If we don't stop it here, it will spread. This is not a fight for a planet. It's a fight for every voice left in the galaxy. The colony was quiet. Too quiet. No engines. No voices. No wind. The silence had spread. It moved through machines, wires, screens, turning light into shadow, thought into emptiness. One by one, the Volari fell. Not dead, just empty. Eyes open, but minds gone. Laren sat alone in the dark, holding a small data crystal. It was the last copy of the colony's history, their voices, their hope. He looked at the first protocol. Is there anything left to try? The armored figure's voice was heavy. One chance, one final message, one voice. Laren stood. I'll do it. Omega hovered above Zoltrax 9, burning with red light. The silence cannot leave this world, it said. Containment must remain, no survivors. The protocol stood in front of it. Not yet, the first one said. We have one last message to send. Omega paused. Time is short. Give us 5 minutes, the protocol said. One voice may be enough. Laren entered the main tower. The control room was broken, half melted. Screens sparked. Consoles buzzed with whispers. He placed the crystal into the main terminal. Then he began to speak. His voice went across the colony, not in fear, not in anger, but in calm. This is Laren of the Valari colony. We made mistakes. We opened something we didn't understand, but we never stopped trying to build peace. Silence feeds on fear, on hate, on pain. So I give it something different. I give it my story, my love for this place, my memories, my truth. If I am the last voice, let it be a voice of hope. The system glowed. Then, cracked. The silence entered. It poured into the control room like smoke. But it didn't attack. It listened. The crystal shined. Laren's memories played. Laughing. With friends, building the first school, sharing stories around firelight. Moments of life. Moments of sound. The silence paused. It began to change. Just a little. For the first time, it heard something it didn't understand. Joy. Above, Omega's voice changed. Signal. Stabilizing. Infection slowing. System adapting. The protocols watched in silence. The first one spoke. His voice is working. Then, the tower exploded. Laren was gone. But his message remained, echoing, repeating. One voice. Forever. The silence did not die, but it stopped and listened. It left the machines. The minds it had stolen slowly returned. The colony lights came back. The stars became visible again, and Omega turned blue. Threat level reduced. Containment lifted. Valari colony, status, survived. The protocols bowed their heads. Laren had given everything, not with weapons, but with words. Weeks later, a small memorial stood at the center of the colony. On it was written, "He spoke when no one else could. His voice saved us all." The first protocol stood nearby. One Valari child asked him, "Will it come back? The silence?" "Maybe," he said. "But now, it knows not all voices are enemies." The child looked up. "Will the humans ever return?" "They never truly left," the figure replied. "As long as someone remembers what they stood for, humanity remains." And in the sky above, Omega watched, not as a weapon, but as a guardian.